Good morning. Welcome to Mornings with Patty. And it is May 25th, and I'm reading from the language of letting go. And the topic is loving yourself unconditionally. Love yourself into health and a good life of your own. Love yourself into relationships that work for you and the other person. Love yourself into peace, happiness, joy, success, and contentment. Love yourself into all that you always wanted. We can stop treating ourselves the way others treated us if they behaved in a way less healthy, in a way less desirable. If we have learned to see ourselves critically, conditionally, and in a diminishing and punishing way, it's time to stop. Other people treated us that way, but it's even worse to treat ourselves that way now. Loving ourselves may seem foreign, even foolish at times. People may accuse us of being selfish. We don't have to believe them. People who love themselves are truly able to love others and let others love them. People who love themselves and hold themselves in high esteem are those who give the most, who contribute the most, and who love the most. How do we love ourselves? By forcing it at first, by faking it if necessary, by acting as if, by working as hard at loving and liking ourselves as we have at not liking ourselves. Explore what it means to love yourself. Do things for yourself that reflect compassionate, nurturing self-love. Embrace and love all of yourself, all parts of yourself, the past, present, and future. Forgive yourself quickly and as often as necessary. Encourage yourself. Tell yourself good things about yourself. If we think and believe negative ideas, get them out in the open quickly and honestly so we can replace those beliefs with healthier ones, with better ones. Pat yourself on the back when necessary. Discipline yourself when necessary. Ask for help, for time. Ask for what you need. Sometimes give yourself treats. Do not treat yourself like a pack mule, always pushing and driving harder. Learn to be good to yourself. Choose behaviors with preferable consequences. Treating yourself well is one. Learn to stop your pain even when that means making difficult decisions. Do not unnecessarily deprive yourself. Sometimes give yourself what you want just because you want it. Stop explaining and justifying yourself. When you make mistakes, let them go. We learn, we grow, and we learn some more. And through it all, we love ourselves. We work at it, then work at it some more. One day we'll wake up, look in the mirror, and find that loving ourselves has become habitual. We're now living with a person who gives and receives love because that person loves him or herself. Self-love will take hold and become a guiding force in our life. Today I will work at loving myself. I will work as hard as loving myself as I have as not liking myself. Help me, God, to let go of self-hate and behaviors that reflect not liking myself. Help me replace those with behaviors that reflect self-love. Today, God, help me hold myself in high self-esteem. Help me know I'm lovable and capable of giving and receiving love. Wow, this is a big task, isn't it? There are a couple of authors I refer to and think about when I read this passage, and one of them is Louise Hay, where she says the first way to love yourself is just stop criticizing yourself. And in order to do that, we have to become aware of how we're criticizing ourselves. And I can tell you it is brutal what we talk to ourselves about. The other author that I really love is Michael Singer, and he talks about the committee he doesn't really talk about the committee. I'm referring to a friend of mine who calls it the itty bitty shitty committee in the head. and but what he talks about is your inner roommate. And if you took all that, what your inner roommate says, and put it next to you, that's what you live with all the time. And it's so, most of the time, not pretty. I don't know about you, but I can stay on a rant inside for a really long time, and that's not loving to myself. So to me, the first thing to do is just become aware of the unloving thoughts, and then write those unloving thoughts down, and then find the opposite of that. And when you catch yourself in the middle of your self-hatred, stop, ask yourself, according to Eckhart Tolle, what's my next thought? And then replace it with something that's more loving. Oh, you did the best you can. You're doing the greatest job. Encourage yourself. And if you make a mistake and others berate you for it, you don't need to be around those people. And if it's at work, you just have to let it go. Because when we live in the past with our mistakes, we're just going to keep repeating them in the future. I guarantee it. So self-compassion is that part of ourselves that we are not really conscious of. What I have done to really help me in this quest on self-love, of accepting all of me, is I surround myself with just loving people now. I have had to sacrifice and give up a community of people or certain people in my life because they cannot show me the love. And if I ask for what I need, or I talk to them what I want, and they come back with me, well, you can choose to think and feel how you choose to think and feel, or they come back with me with anger when I ask for forgiveness or love or acceptance, I know I can't go on, because they're going to keep on doing that behavior, and that is just unloving to me. I surround myself with people who see me for who I am and still love me, because the people who know my heart know I would never do anything to hurt you, not on purpose. I can make up stories, of course, about the reason why somebody does something, but the people who really love me, they're with me for a really long time, and I use them to model. Like, there are a couple who just nurture me, who just talk to me in the most soothing tones, and then when like that, they just the way they talk, I just revel in it, and then I'm like, oh, that's how I can talk to myself, with soothing ways, not, what the fuck did you do this time? Why did you do that? And so what happens is, as we move through this, and I'm going to tell you, it's a process. There is no instant cure anywhere, unless you are some yogi in the Himalayas, but it takes time, because you have spent your entire life beating yourself up. And to practice a new behavior, practice a new way of being, and there are so many layers, right, of how the way you've been. And I just take one thing at a time, just work on one thing. If self-love is it, do I criticize myself a lot? If I do, then I spend time looking at the ways I criticize myself, then find a replacement affirmation and say, it's okay, baby, you got this. It's going to be all right. And when I start doing that, I start to become more loving. And when people around me see that, then I'm more loving and more patient with them. Doesn't that make sense? It makes sense to me. So today and this week, what I really encourage you to do is go back through this video. Listen to what I talked about and what I read about self-love, about showing self-compassion, about nurturing yourself, about doing healthy behaviors with great consequences. And I want you to do that and see the shifts and see how addicted you might be to the thoughts of self-hatred. Because I'm going to tell you right now, those thoughts of self-hatred are so unloving and so untrue. That is not who you are. I promise you. And whatever mistake you have made, and I know, yes, there are big ones, there are ways of going through that process and loving yourself. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments below how you are committing to loving yourself this week, today, and always. Thank you for letting me share, and I love you. Thanks for showing up, because I show up for me, and whoever wants to join me, great. And I just love seeing you grow, and I love seeing me grow too. Thank you. Enjoy.